What is up, YouTube friends? Welcome back for part 4 of McMahon's Last Stand. I'm AmKay, and you're watching Purple Sky 11. If you're new to the channel, please be aware this video is part of a series, and each episode builds on information discussed in previous videos. A link to all videos in the series so far can be found in the description box below. I just want to take a minute to let you know I am not a legal expert or an expert of anything, really. I'm just a girl who loves to research stuff, and I also happen to be a huge wrestling fan. Also keep in mind that all of this, these accusations, the articles, the lawsuit, at this time these are only allegations pending the outcome of litigation. So please don't take anything I say seriously, and as always, do your own research. Also, please be advised that the following content will contain descriptions of sexual assault. This content may be disturbing to some people. Watch with caution. Due to the content, this video will probably not be eligible for monetization. If you'd like to support the channel, you can send $1 my way at the Cash App link in the description box below. We are going to be picking up from where Part 3 ended, and we are still in the factual allegations section of the complaint. Moving on to subsection C, as you can see here, Ms. Grant's WWE career commences, minimal work, and an absent boss. But really quick before I get back to the lawsuit, I've been digging into other rabbit holes with this case, and I just want to show you something strange. So I've been wondering, why is this the only picture we have of this girl? Is this normal? It's the same picture over and over and over. Oh wait, here's another picture. Let's go check that out. Oh, shoot. The same picture. Let's scroll. Maybe we can find that image further down here on the page. Let's see. Nope. Nowhere. Nowhere. Nope. See what I mean? It's the same picture. I'm not really sure what to think about that. Is that weird? It's just the same picture. This blonde, this is Janelle Grant's attorney, Ann Callis. So why is there only this one photo of Ms. Grant seemingly in existence? Nobody else has a picture of her? Scrolling through this and seeing the same image over and over, it gives me a very eerie, uncanny feeling. And I actually questioned whether this girl even really exists. That's how weird this made me feel. Like, what the hell is actually going on here? I found a website that had a link to what was supposedly her Instagram. So let me show you that. Okay, this is the Instagram account that was linked in an article that said this was Janelle Grant's account. But if this is really her Instagram, which I don't believe it is, by the way, but if it is Janelle Grant's account, this is almost disturbing. How all of these images are directly related to her lawsuit. And again, it's the same image of her. There's no other images of her, not even on what's supposedly her social media page. Oh wait, is this a picture of her? Oh, there's another picture of her. Ooh, all right. Who am I looking at here? So this is Real Jessie on Fire. New pictures of McMahon accuser leaked. Nice. I'll have to check that out later. But is it me, or is that kind of strange? She has made no public appearances. The only statement she has made has been through her attorney, which is a whole other rabbit hole. Okay, let's try this again. This is the second time I'm recording this section of video. The first time, the audio was insanely out of sync with the video for some reason, so here we go again. When I looked into the attorney, Ann Callis, I found out that she's actually licensed to practice law in Illinois. And in fact, she had to file a motion to appear pro hoc vica, which means she needed special permission to be allowed to practice in this case, because she doesn't have a license to practice in the state of Connecticut. Ann Callis also has a lot of political connections. Running for Congress in 2014 and losing to the incumbent Republican, Callis's campaign was supported by none other than Nancy Pelosi, who even made appearances at campaign rallies on Callis's behalf. And her father, Lance Callis, who passed away in 2019, was a prominent personal injury attorney influential in Democratic politics. And I'm still trying to find out if she's related to this guy. Let's just say I found enough interesting information about Ms. Callis that I could dedicate an entire video to her alone. If you'd be interested in that, let me know down in the comments. But I'm just curious why they're bringing in an attorney from Illinois. You know who else is from Illinois? Ari Emanuel, CEO of Endeavor and new owner of WWE, whose brother Ram had even served as mayor of Chicago and as Barack Obama's chief of staff. Is that all coincidence? I don't know yet. Anyway, don't forget to subscribe because I'm digging deeper into all of this and you do not want to miss it. Okay, so let's dig into this document. We're at subsection C. Ms. Grant's WWE career commences, minimal work and an absent boss. Number 95. On June 17, 2019, Ms. Grant reported to WWE headquarters for her first day of work. Literally, her first day. This was her first ever day of work. With attorneys in glass offices and support staff in cubicles with low walls and tall monitors, it was easy to see how much other colleagues worked. As a quiet and small department, it was even easier to overhear their conversations. Nothing like office gossip. Number 96. Ms. Grant was immediately surprised that there was not much work assigned to her, struggling even to appear busy in her new role. In stark contrast to colleagues who complained about overflowing inboxes, Ms. Grant's phone only overflowed with controlling and sexually charged text messages from the chairman and CEO, who, of course, is Vince McMahon, reminding her both of McMahon's power and ever-present surveillance. Number 97. Colleagues shared onboarding stories with Ms. Grant and talked about receiving pre-made binders of information or the opportunity to shadow departing employees, none of which happened for Ms. Grant, nor did anyone know what her unusual title of Administrator Coordinator meant. That's a good question. What exactly does a legal administrator coordinator do? So according to this website, climbtheladder.com, legal coordinators are the glue that holds together the legal system. They act as liaisons between attorneys and their clients, ensuring that everyone is on the same page and working toward a common goal. They may also be responsible for managing day-to-day operations of their firm or organization, and this might include overseeing administrative tasks like scheduling meetings and appointments, answering phones, etc. Okay, so like a secretary, right? Or an assistant. But is Ms. Grant qualified for this job? A legal coordinator typically has a wide range of responsibilities, which can include drafting and reviewing legal documents such as contracts, blah blah blah, coordinating with clients and attorneys to schedule appointments, maintaining client files and records, ensuring the office runs smoothly, managing office, scheduling meetings, preparing legal documents, communicating with clients, and reviewing cases for possible settlement opportunities or other legal options that may benefit the client. That's interesting. And I guess salary varies depending on level of education, experience, and type of law that they specialize in, with a median salary of $72,500 annually. And the lawsuit says Ms. Grant started entry level with a salary of $75,000, so that's higher than average. Alright, what about job requirements? Is Ms. Grant even qualified for this type of job? It says at least a bachelor's degree, preferably a Juris Doctorate or a Doctor of Law, but these degrees are not required. Well, I think Ms. Grant has a degree in journalism from Yale, and she's never had a job before this. So was she even able to perform the duties required for this type of work? Maybe, but without a background in law and experience with legal jargon and all of that, I'm not sure how well she'd be able to keep everything organized. But I suppose training would have a lot to do with that, though. This website says legal coordinators receive on-the-job training after they are hired to help them learn the specific procedures and practices of their organization. But going by what it says in the lawsuit, it doesn't seem like Ms. Grant received any real training. I'm thinking that may be because nobody there took her seriously. This website says that some employers may require that legal coordinators pass an industry-specific certification to show their general understanding of the field. And I have a feeling that Ms. Grant wouldn't pass that test had she been required to take it. But let's get back to the document. Number 98. Ms. Grant did not even meet WWE employee number 1 until her second week of employment. Remember, employee number 1 was Ms. Grant's boss and was described in this lawsuit as a decades-long family friend who was loyal to McMahon. This says number 1 was a lively individual who frequently regaled the legal department with stories of others at WWE. If McMahon's name was mentioned, WWE employee number 1 would turn to Ms. Grant with a smile, a finger point, and/or a comment that drew attention to her connection to McMahon, such as, "She knows what I'm talking about." Oh my God. I would have shriveled up and died. Number 99. WWE employee number 1 and Ms. Grant bonded as quickly as McMahon had predicted. What? Wait, so they bonded? Even though number 1 called her out about her relationship with McMahon, which was just explained there in number 98, despite that, they still bonded. So then I guess it couldn't have bothered her too badly, huh? Ms. Grant, referred to as partner. Wait, partner? Was that her professional title, as in like partner of the firm? Or was that just like a nickname, just like, "Hey partner," or "What's up partner?" Probably just a nickname. So, number 1 and Ms. Grant quickly bonded, right? Just like McMahon said they would. Ms. Grant was referred to as partner, and she was taught words to live by in WWE, including, quote, "We do what's in the best interests of the company," quote, "protect the business." And if McMahon wants something, quote, "the answer isn't no, but rather, how do we make it happen?" And employee number 1 also impressed onto Ms. Grant that job titles don't mean anything for members of McMahon's inner circle, which she was clearly considered to be part of. Wow. It's amazing how McMahon was so quick to trust this girl, right? What's up with that? Number 100. As WWE employee number 1 was seldom in the office and required little administrative support, Ms. Grant reported indirectly to another WWE employee within the legal department, who is referred to herein as WWE employee number 2. And number 2 provided Ms. Grant with occasional projects related to talent appearances and XFL that helped fill Ms. Grant's time. Okay, so she worked on projects related to talent appearances and the XFL. Interesting. Number 101. Based on her hiring alone, WWE corporate officer number 4 was on notice that there was something different about Ms. Grant, namely her connection to McMahon. So, based on her hiring alone, number 4 noticed something different. You mean like maybe the fact that she had 0 experience and that the job had been created specifically for her and that the only reason she was there was because of McMahon? Yeah, how terrible of anyone to notice that and call it out. Screw everyone who actually put in the work to get to this level in their career. Their opinions mean nothing. Aptui. As Ms. Grant feared and had expressed to McMahon, she was unhappy that a spotlight was unnecessarily put on her before she ever set foot in the office. Well, honey, you sure as hell have a spotlight on you now, don't ya? You'll forever be known as the girl who got shit on by Vince McMahon. Literally. Like, a lot of people could say that figuratively. I don't know how many people could say it literally, but honey, you've earned that badge. Ms. Grant immediately noticed that WWE corporate officer number 4 was warm with other colleagues but cold towards her. Well, yeah, probably because they didn't want you there. Number 102. Beginning in July 2019, after Ms. Grant raised an issue related to XFL's performance-enhancing drug policy with McMahon, WWE corporate officer number 4's behavior shifted from cold to actively hostile. What issue did she raise specifically? Was the issue about policy or about a person? And what happened here to create even more hostility toward Ms. Grant? I need more details about this. I have a feeling this is an important little nugget of info here. This goes on to say that if Ms. Grant walked into a room while corporate officer number 4 was laughing with colleagues, number 4's expression immediately became blank and number 4 would walk away. Oof, that is harsh. Yeah, I'd have quit. Why this girl keeps putting herself in these situations, I have no idea. Number 103. Colleagues noticed this shift in behavior. While some commented on it to Ms. Grant, others emulated it. Oh, okay, so that means that others saw how number 4 was treating Ms. Grant, the coldness and hostility towards her, so the other colleagues saw her being treated this way and felt that they could then treat her the same way. Not cool, not cool. Number 104. Notwithstanding the issues detailed above, Ms. Grant took her employment seriously. Well, good, she should. This says, in contrast, McMahon continued a pattern of sending sexually charged messages throughout the work week. Certain her employment depended on her continued appeasement of and obedience to McMahon, and believing she needed McMahon's protection from the suspicious WWE corporate officer number 4 and others, Ms. Grant felt no choice but to respond in kind. So as long as she was on McMahon's good side, she didn't mind that it was painfully obvious to her coworkers that she wasn't of any real value to the company. Do you think this might be why she kept hooking up with McMahon? Seems like it would have been clear to Ms. Grant that that was the only way she'd be keeping this job. Let me know what you think in the comments. I don't know, from where I'm sitting, it seems like this girl could have walked away at any time. Number 105. From all of this, Ms. Grant began to experience debilitating panic attacks in the office on a near-daily basis that left her physically drained. Well, no shit, I would feel that way as well if I knew that everyone I worked with was aware of exactly how I got the job. It probably didn't feel great to be snubbed and mocked when really she just wanted a job, right? This says she could not hide the physical symptoms of these attacks and texted resident manager, quote, "You should see the way people look at me when I'm having an attack," end quote. But while her coworkers noticed, no one dare get involved. Okay, well, did she try talking to any coworkers? Or did she just notice that nobody reached out to her? They probably felt like they couldn't or that they shouldn't get involved because they knew she was boning the CEO. Did she reach out to anyone in that office to say she needs help to get out of a situation? There wasn't even one person in that office that she became at least somewhat friendly with? And what about this resident manager? Did she express to resident manager about this situation she was in with Vince? Did resident manager offer to help her? I just don't understand. This doesn't make sense. The lawsuit states repeatedly that Ms. Grant feared losing her job. Yet then it goes on to detail how the job gave her panic attacks because everyone was so indifferent to her. So why did she even want to keep the job? Clearly nobody wanted her there. They were trying to run a company and she was a distraction. And it's not only the job. Don't forget, she feels compelled, as the lawsuit explains, to keep doing these depraved things with McMahon in order to keep this job that is making her so miserable. Make that make sense to me. Now we're at subsection D, McMahon's coercive control tactics to sexualize and dehumanize Ms. Grant. Number 106. In the summer of 2019, McMahon's presence was all-consuming in Ms. Grant's life. In the office, she felt monitored as she was surrounded by allies of McMahon, which led to continued daily panic attacks. Outside the office, McMahon sexualized her entirely. He no longer referred to her as a friend and largely stopped talking to Ms. Grant outside of sexting and fantasy talk. Any non-sexual texts related to life and or work were either ignored or given token responses like okay or yup. Vince, being the nutsack that he is, he probably felt he didn't need to bother with being friendly anymore. At this point, he knew he had her in his slimy grip. Vince probably felt he owned her. That wouldn't surprise me in the least. Number 107. As detailed herein, McMahon was adamant about having Ms. Grant send him explicit photographs. impressing upon her that it was part of her sexuality. But that's not for him to decide. What the hell? Given the control that McMahon had over Ms. Grant's employment, she felt compelled to comply and sent the explicit photographs to McMahon's mobile device. Ms. Grant was routinely assured that the photographs she was providing to McMahon were to remain private and were part of their secret world. Just wow. She felt compelled to comply? Really? I would have sent him a picture of my favorite finger. And I'm sorry, but this girl was 39 years old at this time. I find it really difficult to believe she didn't have the understanding that images of this nature rarely stay private, especially not when you're messing with people like McMahon. Number 108. McMahon began to degrade Ms. Grant, calling her his bitch, while hinting at a fascination with having other people watch them engage in sexual activity. And unfortunately, this is usually the next step in this sick cycle of abuse. Once the asshole knows he has you under his thumb, he wants to make you feel that you are worthless and that nobody else could ever care for you. And the depravity only gets worse as time goes on. Number 109. Additionally, this complaint details encounters during which McMahon caused Ms. Grant to sustain physical injuries, including bleeding and pain, from forceful use of sex toys. Despite Ms. Grant's plea to cease any further sexual activity, the number of sexual encounters increased, as did McMahon's physical aggression during them. Oh, cheese and rice, this is starting to sound like the R word now. I can't say that word on YouTube, and this just got really bad, really quick. Number 110. Notably, McMahon was most aggressive when using the certain sex toys named after male WWE wrestlers and performers. Oh, my fucking God, no, I didn't want to know that. McMahon named the sex toys so that the color of the toy matched the race of the wrestler. For example, no, not examples! A black dildo would be named after an African American wrestler, and a white dildo would be named after a Caucasian wrestler. Oh my God, why are the first names that popped in my head while reading this Bobby Lashley and Ric Flair? What is wrong with me? Oh my God, I bet there was no eye contact in the locker room after this news broke. Can you imagine? Oh my gosh, okay. In addition to McMahon's infatuation with pretending that other men, and namely certain WWE talent, were in the room with them, this was yet another incremental step in desensitizing Ms. Grant to his fantasy and eventual demands that she perform sexual acts for and or have sexual contact with others within WWE. Oh my God. Number 111. During a David versus Goliath type wrestling match in 2019, Ms. Grant shared with McMahon her thoughts on the event, the draw of rooting for the underdog, and ideas for future events. McMahon complimented her creative input. Wait, didn't it just say in here that Vince had stopped being friendly with her and that everything had become completely sexualized? And now here it says he's complimenting her creative input? Okay. This says Ms. Grant believed she was being taken seriously. That is, until McMahon named a dildo after the smaller wrestler and attempted to sexualize the situation, diminishing her input. 2019, David and Goliath type match. Could the smaller wrestler be... Booyaka, booyaka. I just would love to know, why is she still trying to have conversation with this creepy old man? Is she still visiting his condo? Is she even trying to actually distance herself from him? And all this time, don't forget, she's going home every day after work, and every day she wakes up and does it all over again. Because that is what Ms. Grant chose to do. That was her decision. Number 112. By fall of 2019, McMahon frequently pressed for pornographic videos and more explicit content. Well, yeah, dear, that's how it always goes. They always want more. That's why it should have been no, sir, from day one. When Ms. Grant expressed apprehension with his requests, McMahon responded with assurances that she could trust him, or he questioned why she didn't trust him. Well, when he asked why she didn't trust him, why didn't she express her concerns? He gave her an open door. Why didn't she walk through it? And number 113, McMahon also took care to remind Ms. Grant of his power and influence, such as by flaunting a meeting with the Saudi Crown Prince in October 2019. Oh, come on. So what? Mohammed bin Salman is 1,000 miles away. How does that affect the situation? What's he going to do, sanction you? Oh, I guess this is a good place to stop for now. Part 5 will start with subsection E. McMahon tightens his grip on Ms. Grant and discredits her doctor, replacing him with one of McMahon's choosing. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe and hit that bell so you are notified when the next video drops. Due to the content, this video will probably not be eligible for monetization. If you'd like to support the channel, you can send $1 my way at the Cash App link in the description box below. This is AmKay at Purple Sky 11. As always, thank you for your time and listening to what I have to say, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye!